The Tale of Little Lyra and the Magical Forest. Once upon a time, in a land where the stars danced in the sky and the rivers hummed lullabies, there lived a little girl named Lyra and her mother, Amara. They lived at the edge of an enchanted forest, where trees whispered secrets and flowers bloomed in colors more beautiful than any painter could imagine. Amara was a gentle and wise mother who knew all the secrets of the forest. She had grown up there herself and understood the ways of the magical creatures that lived within it. From the moment Lyra was born, Amara's heart overflowed with love, and she made it her purpose to teach her daughter the wonders of the world while helping her feel safe and brave. Every evening, Amara would hold Lyra close and tell her stories of the forest, the friendly foxes that helped travelers find their way, the fairies who sprinkled stardust to make flowers glow, and the wise old owl who could answer any question in the world. Lyra loved these stories, and each night she felt safe and warm in her mother's arms, knowing that her mother's love was stronger than any magic in the forest. The first steps into the forest. One day, when Lyra turned 3, Amara took her by the hand and led her to the edge of the forest. "Today, my little star," Amara said, "we will go into the forest together. I will show you its beauty, and you will see how the creatures of the woods live in harmony." Lyra looked up at the towering trees and heard the soft rustling of leaves. She felt both excited and a little nervous. But her mother's warm hand in hers reassured her, and she took her first step into the forest with a heart full of curiosity. As they walked, Amara pointed out the tiny mushrooms hidden under moss, the twinkling dewdrops hanging from leaves, and the little butterflies that fluttered around them. Every time Lyra felt a bit scared, Amara would kneel down and whisper, "I'm here, my darling. I'll always be here beside you." With each step, Lyra's confidence grew. The forest didn't seem so big or scary anymore. It felt like a place of wonders waiting for her to discover. The River of Reflections. After a while, they came upon a river that shimmered like glass. Amara called it the River of Reflections, and it was said to show not just a person's reflection, but also their heart's deepest desires. Lyra knelt by the water, looking down into its silvery surface. To her surprise, she didn't just see her own reflection. She saw her mother's hand holding hers, and the image of them walking together. It reminded her that she was never alone, even in the deepest parts of the magical forest. Amara noticed her daughter's wonder and said, "This river will remind you that, just as I am here for you now, my love for you will always be with you. Even if one day you journey into the world on your own, you'll have this love in your heart forever." Lyra looked up at her mother with shining eyes. She felt something warm and comforting settle within her, a quiet strength that made her feel brave. The Mischievous Sprites and the Lesson of Patience. As they wandered deeper into the forest, Lyra spotted a group of mischievous forest sprites playing among the flowers. The sprites were known for their tricks. They loved to hide things and make funny faces to surprise travelers. They darted around, laughing, and one sprite even tugged on Lyra's scarf playfully before disappearing. Lyra felt frustrated. She didn't like having her things touched, and she stomped her foot in annoyance. Sensing her daughter's frustration, Amara knelt down and held Lyra's hands. "It's okay to feel frustrated, my little star. The sprites are playful creatures, and sometimes they don't know when to stop." Amara showed Lyra how to take a deep breath, a trick she said could calm even the stormiest feelings. "Close your eyes," she whispered, "and imagine yourself as a big, strong tree. Trees don't get upset when the wind blows. They sway with it, knowing that it will pass." Lyra followed her mother's advice, breathing slowly and feeling her frustration melt away. When she opened her eyes, she found herself laughing with her mother at the silly sprites, who, seeing Lyra's smile, returned her scarf with little squeals of joy. From that day on, Lyra remembered her mother's advice whenever she felt overwhelmed. She learned to breathe deeply and imagine herself as a tree, strong and grounded. The Owl of Wisdom and a Question of Bravery. As twilight fell, they came upon an ancient oak tree where the Owl of Wisdom sat, his golden eyes glowing in the dusk. Amara greeted the owl with respect, and the owl bowed his head in return. "What question do you have for me tonight?" the owl asked, his voice deep and warm. Lyra hesitated for a moment before asking, "Owl, how can I be brave like my mother?" The owl looked at her kindly. "Bravery isn't about never being scared, young one. It's about feeling safe enough to explore, even when things seem big and uncertain. Your mother has given you a special gift, the gift of her love and guidance. That love is like an invisible shield that will help you be brave." Lyra looked at her mother, and in that moment, she understood. Her bravery came from knowing her mother would always be there, guiding her, protecting her, and cheering her on. She had the courage to explore the forest because her mother's love was like a light that illuminated the path. The Journey Home and a Heart Full of Magic. As night blanketed the forest, Amara and Lyra began their journey back home. Lyra felt tired but happy, her heart full of all the wonders she had seen. The forest no longer felt mysterious and frightening. Instead, it felt like a place of beauty and magic that she was now connected to. As they reached the edge of the forest, Amara lifted Lyra into her arms and whispered, "Remember, my little star, the forest is a part of you now. You've seen its beauty, its mischief, and its wisdom. And just as the forest is within you, so is my love. It will be with you, wherever you go." Lyra rested her head on her mother's shoulder, feeling safe and loved. She knew that no matter what adventures awaited her, she would always have her mother's love as her guiding star. From that day forward, Lyra carried the magic of the forest and the strength of her mother's love in her heart. And in her dreams, she would visit the forest, seeing herself as brave and strong, just like the big, sturdy trees that swayed gently with the wind. And so, in a land filled with magic and wonder, Lyra grew up to be a kind, courageous young girl, guided always by the love her mother had given her, a love as timeless and enduring as the forest itself.